Hi everyone, welcome. This is Gem 314 Tarot. I hope I find everyone well. Thank you for returning and hello if you're new. This is a reading for Moon entering Gemini today. So let's get started. The main thing that I'm getting from this, of course, with Gemini is communication, and this is no different. This is talking about communicating with people to avoid a conflict. Now, the first cards we dropped was the Anchor and the Songbirds from the Lenormand deck. And the Anchor is something that it says safe harbor, grounding, security, home base, work, and settlement. And then the Songbirds are always messages, okay? It's messages, communication, excited talking, chatting, um, negotiations, information exchange, phone calls, gossip, news, and the friend group, but also home and stuff. So the center of this feels like what I got from that when I dropped them was I felt like messages from home or communication with those around us in the home environment, family, friends, the community that we come from, things like that. From the first light tarot, we dropped energy and then a card for personal messages. The energy card means to vibe high. The big reading we had yesterday was talking about raise your vibration and vibe high. So this is trying to tell us about when we do communicate with a higher vibration in mind, okay? Rise above like very lowly fighting, arguing, lies, low vibe thinking. It's a call to think higher than where we came from, a call to think higher than what is around us, a call to think bigger, broader, more inclusive, okay? It also means go with the flow and that all energy that we put out comes back to us. We're going to go down the left side first and then we'll go down the right. We'll do the left and the middle and then the right because the right has the personal message side. So then we'll get to that last. So here on the left, we've got energy, okay, the anchor. It's something that what do we anchor ourselves to? We anchor ourselves to home, the thoughts that raised us, the people that raised us, the customs that raised us, things like that. Things that ground us, things that bring us comfort, stability, tradition, things like that. Energy meaning, let flow in a higher vibration. Underneath that, now in this reading we dropped the 5 of Wands twice, which is conflict, okay? Once we drop it upright, once we dropped it reversed, which means that there is opportunity in communication to avoid conflict or work through it, okay? So underneath energy we dropped the 5 of Wands from the Tarot of the Divine. That's the deck that deals with mythology from around the world. So the 5 of Wands here in this deck is from India, and it's a story of the Pandavas. They're 5 brothers who were born to a king. So the story of the 5 brothers is central to the Mahabharata. They are princes and sons of the king Pandu. He was a human king, but the 5 brothers were fathered by devas or gods because the king was infertile. Okay, well they rivaled with their cousins, which rivaled with their cousins, and they constantly fought with them and argued with them and conflicted with them over whatever. Hi, get down. Hi, baby. Um, they rivaled with their cousins and then lost their kingdom to them when one of them lost it gambling dice. Along with the kingdom, they lost their wife. That's right, I said one wife for all 5 of them. And she was forced to endure disrespect before the other lords. But she prayed to Krishna for help, and Krishna intervened to stop it. But the conflicts between the two sides never ended. And at the end, both sides incurred heavy losses, but the 5 brothers survives. This card advises against clashing egos and conflict with countrymen and family, okay? Underneath, next to that, we had the Ten of Branches, and that's from the Animal Wisdom deck. That's the Scarab Beetle. Now, I love the Scarab Beetle because the symbolism of it is that of rebirth. The Ten of Branches is the Ten of Wands, which is the laying down of a burdensome cycle. But I love this symbolism because um, the 10 branches that the scarab is holding form a wheel with which it just rolls away from the situation, and the 4 branches that it has on fire is the symbol of the purification rituals that the Egyptians went through in order to purify their soul during the death ritual. Okay, so this symbolizes letting go of a situation and allowing it to die, and purifying yourself from that cycle. I like the symbolism of the 4 wands on fire because it's like you're burning away the old cycle. Okay, underneath that we had the Fool, and again the 5 of wands reversed. So it feels like just letting go of something that was burdensome, going on to a new opportunity without that baggage, because he is carrying 1 staff, and the satchel that he carries has just the basics. And that's interesting because in the theme deck we dropped just the base, go back to basics. So it feels like there's new opportunity here to end some conflict. There's a lot of wands here. There's the 5 of wands twice, that's 10 wands. And then we got the 10 of branches, that's 10 of wands. And then we got the 6 of wands, which is victory on that side. So there's a lot of fiery energy. When a lot of branches come up, I also have to mention that it means health, because it has to do with our vitality and our blood and our heart, and the health of our body, okay? Underneath the 5 of wands upright, we have the 6 of wands, which is victory. So here we've got the call for letting the flow of energy go equally, and functioning in a higher vibration. Okay. Then under that there's the conflict. Then under that there's victory, the Fool, and conflict reversed. So if we find ourselves in conflict, we need to let go of that burden. We need to move on. Also, this says that there will be victory after that conflict, which will allow us to move on. And the 5 of wands reversed means, okay, so see the Fool with the 5 of wands reversed next to it. It's like these people are fighting, and this person's like, I'm not even getting involved. I'm getting out of here. I'm not involved in this conflict anymore. I'm releasing it because of that 10 of branches, releasing the situation. And he is in Fool energy, meaning I am beginning anew outside of this conflict. It's like you're removing yourself from it. And with that, the Fool is moving towards, look how he's moving towards the card of victory. So I feel like the only victors are the ones who remove themselves from the fight, you know. In the middle here, we've got with the anchor and the songbirds and the 10 of branches. Next to that, we drop the magpie. And the magpie is the 7 of feathers, or the 7 of swords. This has trickster energy in it, okay? Magpie symbolism is a sly, smooth talker, but he does have prophecy, divination, and mental gifts. So this is somebody who really, this is perfect Gemini energy. Okay, Gemini being ruled by Mercury. Some of the traits that they give to Mercury is also he's the god of con men and pickpockets. He has this ability to distract with his words while his hands do other things. And in this card of the magpie, he's making off with a key. Okay, so you have to be careful that there isn't somebody in your energy who's a sly, smooth talker, that while he's feeding you these beautiful words, he's not stealing something from you underneath your nose, okay? He has an impressive vocabulary, the magpie does, and it's a warning to not fall for lies, distraction, or deceptive speech while theft takes place under your nose. Are you the magpie? And are your lies or double talk and deceit fostering discord, or is there a magpie in your energy? Okay. Underneath the magpie, we got the Ace of Swords and Temperance. Oh, what did they tell me about this earlier? Dang it, I lost it. Shoot. So the Ace of Swords definitely is clarity from the divine. So all the aces are from the divine. It's a little uh, unexpected opportunity and there's unexpected insight here. It's like a lightning bolt of, hey, wait a minute, that's not what that means, or hey, wait a minute, I have different information, new information is coming to you, clarity, truth, and everything. And then Temperance here. Temperance is Sagittarius energy. I'm not sure what's happening in Sagittarius. I forgot to check. This is alchemy, though. This is some kind of reconstitution of something. It's mixing something. It's not only healing, but it's, oh, what did they tell me about this? Shoot, I can't remember. The Fool, Conflict in Reverse, Ace of Swords, and Temperance. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's like after this conflict is avoided or ended or walked away from, there's this opportunity for new truth to come in and reconstitute things, rebuild something, heal it, or change the ingredients. I heard change the ingredients because alchemy, it takes different combinations of ingredients to get a different outcome. Okay, so this feels like a change of what you're working with, I heard. So here on the right side, we've got the personal message card, and underneath that, we drop this beautiful Six of Coins from the Tarot of the Divine. This is an Inuit story, and it's called The Woman Who Was Kind to Insects. So briefly, the story is that of an old woman who was left behind at the summer campgrounds by her family because she was too old to be moved, okay? Thinking her close to death anyways, her family left her with little food beyond some insects. But she reasoned that eating them was wrong, as she was at the end of her life and they were young. It wouldn't prolong her life any, and it would certainly end theirs, and then all of them would be dead. So instead, she set them free and fed them what little else she had. One day, the insects began acting strangely by surrounding her and buzzing and humming very loudly around her. Soon after that, an Arctic fox came into her hut and began to nip at her, tearing at her skin but there was no pain there. So he continued to pull at her skin until it all fell away, and underneath she was young again. Life had returned to her and renewed her. The insects buzzed around her again, voicing their gratitude for her showing them mercy and generosity. They had called to their friend the fox to come and strip away her aged flesh and free her as well. When her family returned, she was gone, though there was no body or bones, and it said that she went to live with her insect friends and even married a particular blowfly whom had become her favorite. This card advises that even in a condition of lack, we should be generous to others, because we never know when our kindness will garner us new allies and perhaps even increase or extend our circle of friends and family. Who knows? A show of kindness and self sacrifice might even lend you or lead you to a new love, a partner, or companion. You may even move up to be near these new people who will then become your people. So, this definitely, as a personal message, is telling us that even in conflict, we should function in a vibration of generosity and equality, because that might turn people who we had been conflicting with, who we saw as our enemies, who we saw as rivals or contenders, that may turn them to our side. It will foster what is it called when you're thankful, right? Oh, why am I drawing a blank? For the moon being in Gemini, it sure doesn't help my communication much. It just fosters better interaction, okay? And people are grat appreciative of the effort being treated with generosity and equality, okay? Underneath that, we drop the Three of Pentacles, which is cooperation to build something new. I love that. So the personal message here is that even though something may be in a rival or contentious or just at a lower point than we are, we should treat them generously, okay? I can't not mention that this is playing out right now with politics. There is definitely contentious communication between two sides, and there's not a lot of kindness and generosity going around from either side. Even though I am definitely on one side versus the other. But this is definitely warning us against, first of all, that magpie right in the middle. There's a sly, smooth talker who is using words in order to steal underneath our noses, okay? The personal message being, even if you find yourself in a position to use something or someone else, set it free and be generous, because that may bring in allies somewhere else, okay? People that we may have once conflicted with will become friends, will become helpers. It will extend and expand our circle of comrades, allies, people who think the same, people who feel the same, people who are generous and kind to each other. Under that, again, we've got the Three of Pentacles, which is cooperation to build something grand, okay? So, let me see here. Magpie, Ace of Swords, Temperance. This generosity here is going to be the inspiration to heal something. That's what we've got. We've got the magpie here, which is the liar, okay? The trickster. And then we've got the Five of Coins here, which is the generosity card. And then we've got Ace of Swords and Temperance. So generosity leads to insight that will help change the formula of something, and will help foster this Three of Pentacles, which is cooperation, okay? Then we have two Angels and Ancestors cards. I'm sorry I'm stuttering today. I feel very clouded. Like I said, with that moon in Gemini, I don't understand why I feel so blocked right now. We've got two from the Angels and Ancestors deck. We've got the She-Wolf, which is Unleash the Wild Within, which is very interesting. There's something about finding your voice too. The wolf unleashes his voice, and the call can go far and be heard by many. Now, when the very big summer reading I just dropped the other day, there were two cards about using your voice. There was Arvel the Parrot from the Fairy Oracle deck, which counseled us to listen well and speak true. And then right on top of that dropped the parrot from the Animal Oracle deck, which said mimicry is not communication. You have to speak your heart with your own words. Okay, and now we have the she-wolf, which is a howling, unleashing the wild within. But I feel like this is more about using your voice, especially in this reading for you, Gemini, about communication. Okay, the she-wolf. Let your wild side out. Let your wild side up and out. Unleash your talents and your desires. It says you're being reminded. Re, this is rewilded. Rewilded. You're being rewilded at this time, guided to reconnect with your rebellious heart, the part of you that likes to break boundaries and go beyond them completely. Okay. If you've been holding back on your hopes and dreams, you're being encouraged to chase after them now. Let the wolf energy within help you track down what direction you want to go in, and don't let any traps or hunters get in the way of your freedom or your growth. The life you want is here. So I like that this fell underneath the Fool and the Five of Wands reversed. It's like release the conflict and go forward on your own path, and then you drop the she-wolf here, which is like it says, it's rewilding, it's unleashing your talents, it's going forward and being your own person, using your own voice, thinking your own way, going your own way, um letting your that wolf energy inside you direct you to a new way to go. Okay, next to that we dropped the stag, which was trust and thrive. Let's see if I can find it. I really should bookmark these before I start recording, because then I don't have to flip through the book while you're listening. Okay. It says, come alive and thrive. Stand in your light and glory with grace and majesty. It says, you have an opportunity to thrive. Trust in all that you have to offer, all your gifts, strengths, and power, and make the most of it. You were born to lead, and this can only become reality when you're willing to put yourself in that position. Stag energy allows you to feel safe because the antlers keep away anything that could interfere with your intelligence and presence. And their strength gives you the power to be agile in your thinking. Okay, you are being encouraged to retain your dignity and be proud of who you are and all that you have accomplished. This in turn will give you even more power to thrive onwards and upwards. Okay, so that falls underneath the Ace of Swords and Temperance. Again, this is like you can overcome this. I feel that some of you may be moving on from a certain way of thinking that you were raised to believe, because that stems up from up here, the anchor and the songbirds, which was like messages or communication from the home front. Okay, where you're grounded, where you find peace, where you find stability, things. It just feels like where our anchor is, where our roots are. Okay, and then like the songbirds are messages and communications and the friend group and the family and everything. So the heart of the matter here was messages or communication from the home front. Okay, and then we've got scarab beetle, which is letting a cycle go, and magpie, which is being aware of tricksters and smooth talkers, liars, people who might want to distract you with words while they steal from you in some other way. Um, Next to the magpie, again, we have the card of generosity, which, showing people kindness and generosity may turn their hearts, may turn them to allies, may give you some kind of new family to go to, a brand new community. Okay, I'm not saying that it's gonna turn well. Even if you don't change people's minds, your kindness and generosity will at least temper. Oh, that's what it was. Temperance. It'll at least temper the conflict for a little bit, and it'll allow you the time to gain insight in how to change the chemistry of what you're working with. That in turn leads to the Three of Pentacles, which is equal cooperation in building something new. Okay. Um, Again, with the energy, the flow, there's conflict here, but you're walking away from it. Letting it go is the victory, I heard. Where we have the Five of Wands here with the five brothers who were always conflicting. This may be conflicts with family or friends or the friend group, the community in some way. But then there's the Ten of Branches. You're putting an end to that. Okay? And then that's the victory. Ending it and walking away with the Fool card is the victory here. And that in turn will reverse or it doesn't necessarily stop it. I don't feel like it's going to stop it because there's always going to be conflict. But for the moment, it might temper it a little bit because we've got temperance here, and that always kind of, brings that to mind for me. Then with the she-wolf, it's like, even though it says you're being rewilded, I don't know, I think that just means you're coming back to yourself after you let this conflict go. This Ace of Swords gives you some insight into who you really want to be, where you really want to go. You might have to leave this old group behind, whatever group this is, whether it's the conflict with the family that you're walking away from in order to go in your own direction. That's the she-wolf saying. You're re-empowering yourself in order to walk in a different direction than what you're coming from. And that's where the victory is. It's not necessarily that you beat them, it's that you don't allow yourself to get drawn into the conflict. That's your victory. Okay, maybe the conflict still continues, but for you, this card is in reverse, which means you ended it. Okay, now with the theme cards that we dropped, we have the empty chest, which is lack. It's absence, loss, and scarcity. Conserving resources, maybe a slower increase than we expected. So this is a feeling of the lack of support here, I feel. The lack of support from where you're coming from. We also have illumination with Archangel Uriel. He's wisdom. It's science, art, clear sight. That's that Ace of Swords. The light of God's truth. Decisions, resolving conflicts, awakening, intellect, and guidance. Okay, I love that. Underneath that, it's when necessary, raise hell. That's that Five of Wands conflict here. There will be times where you need to fight, and there will be times where you need to lay down the wand. That's what I feel like. There's the Five of Wands upright and the Five of Wands reversed. With this raise hell when necessary, there's a time and a place for fighting, and there's a time and a place for letting it go. Okay. The next card we got is Back to Basics card. Where did we see that before? Go back to basics. I think we had that with the she-wolf. So that has to do with our communication. Sometimes we let things a snowball, okay, and we lose sight of what began the whole thing. We have to go back to the basics, go back to how it began, go back to where you first started, go back to the go back to pure intentions, go back to pure instincts, things like that. What was the basis of the conflict? What is the basis of the conflict? It's very, very hard to dig through when somebody is hard or hurt, and then you fight, and then there's harm caused, that causes more harm, that causes more, and it just snowballs, and it's hard to peel away all those layers to get to the root, get to what started it all. This means go back to basics, go back to where it all began. But it also can mean that when you release all this, you will reset and you will go back to the basics of what you believe and what you want to stand on, what you stand firm on. What are your basic tenets? What do you subscribe to? This is a feeling of letting go of things that were part of the paradigm that we grew up with, part of what we cling to as truth that may bring conflict with other people. It's letting all that go. The last card we dropped was an oddball, but I kept it in. It's the ring. There's romantic engagement and commitment here. So I think that's interesting because when I was reading from the Five of Coins about the woman who was kind to insects, at the end of that, when she went to live with her new people, she found a husband. So I feel like even though it may hurt to let go of the old group, the allies you make by being truthful, kind, and generous in the face of this conflict will expand the group, the community that you go into. Okay, it'll let go of those that are toxic, and it'll bring in people that will return your kindness, return your generosity. They're like-minded, they're kindred, they are there with you, and you form a cooperation to build something new. Along with that might come this new romantic engagement. You might find a mate or a partner after you let go of the toxicity that you had been dealing with. You let go of the fight and move on. Be true to yourself. Go back to your own, what is that? God, I can't think of the word. I hate when they, I can't think of the word. Go back to basics of, I heard structure again. That's been coming in a lot lately. There's a reworking of what you think are, shoot, hang on a second. Beliefs. That's what I was trying to say. It was a new mentality. It's the Temperance card here talks about purifying morals and beliefs. It's simplicity of principles, getting back to basics, simplicity of principles. It's inclusive healing ideology versus conflict, ego, and pride. It's bringing yourself to higher thoughts and insight and doctrine and reordering the essence of something to create a new equitable paradigm. Okay? I'm going to title this Communication to Avoid Conflict May Invariably Lead to It. That's what I'm getting for you today, Gemini, Moon in Gemini energy. A summary. Let's see. If you're vibing with my content, please leave a like, a comment, share, or subscribe to help the algorithm get my content seen. Check the description box for my email. You can contact me and we can discuss a one question personal reading or a one question birth chart inquiry. Okay. You'll also find links to my Venmo and Cash App. I appreciate any kind of donations and feedback. Thank you so much. In summary, Moon and Gemini, there will be conflict in communications, okay? Your victory may be in walking away from it. There is opportunity to share correct thought, uh, to heal the situation with kindness and generosity, to move into an energy of cooperation to build something new. But it would mean leaving behind whatever this was that you may, it's even thoughts and beliefs that you could have been born into, raised with. It's something that has to do with where you anchor yourself, where you ground yourself, where you feel at home, where you feel settled. There's Songbird here with messages. So all this has to say is there's victory in walking away from conflict, but there's also victory in ending that cycle. Okay, there is the idea of burning something away as you go, which means once you walk away from this group or this conflict, that you're leaving it, you're letting it go, you're burning it. It's no longer part of your energy. Okay, because you have the Fool here and the Five of Wands reversed. You're walking away from the conflict, choosing new opportunities. Back to basics means that you are actually restructuring how you think. in order to come back to something more simple, more generous, and more kind. Okay, the she-wolf here is saying use your voice to plot your new path, go in your own direction, and be vocal about it. When a wolf howls, it can be heard far and wide, and it will draw other wolves to it. It will draw your kin to you. But this may be kin that is not family, or that is not from the group that you're coming from. The generosity card says being kind to others may extend your new family group, new community. It will bring in new people. The wolf's howl will be calling them to you, but you have to find your voice. You have to make sure it's clear. You have to make sure what you're saying is pure and of a higher vibration. Thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow with a collective read. This is just energy for Moon in Gemini for the next 2 days. Thank you so much. Until I see you in the next reading. Bye.